We are live. Hello, Margaret. Hello, Elizabeth. Great to see you both here. Just had a really interesting Monday on Purpose call, and the topic is actually in the subscriber chat. So if you've got nothing better to do when we are done here, would love to have you take a look and drop your thoughts in. Hello, Claire. So we have Margaret, Elizabeth, and Claire are all members of the Circle or Inner Circle community. Appreciate you guys being here. And again, if you're interested in learning a little bit about what we chatted about in the Monday on Purpose call, take a look at the subscriber chat. Clay, also a member of the Circle, is here. Great to have you here, Clay. Clay is also a friend and neighbor from my corner of the universe. John, great to have you here. Just gonna give it a minute or two to let the people that are getting notified get a chance to be here. But we're going to talk about a topic that is frequently a topic of concern or consideration to the people in the Circle and Inner Circle community and the people that I work with. We're going to talk about pricing, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to navigate some of the challenges that some of us feel, especially those of us that are purpose-driven solopreneurs have when it comes to pricing, or more to the point, underpricing our goods and services. Thank you, Claire. Great to have you here. So grateful that you're now a member of our community. Claire is one of our newer members. So Margaret, Elizabeth, Clay, say hello to Claire. And yeah, let's go ahead and get in. So I created this title kind of off the top of my head yesterday, and it is Pricing, Value, Stewardship, and Maturity. And so those of you that are subscribers to the Creative on Purpose Substack probably are aware that I've been announcing over the last week or so that the subscription tier pricing is going to be increasing at the end of this year after the holidays. And I've been sharing some details about that in recent posts. This live has nothing to do with promoting the subscription tiers or justifying why the prices are going up. And there's absolutely no pitch associated with the discussion here today. It's just because of my decision to increase the Circle and Inner Circle paid subscriber tiers before this year ends has inspired me to be thinking a lot more deeply about the topic of pricing. So this conversation will be a lot more interesting if it's just not me doing all the talking. So if you have any questions of your own about pricing, about when to think about increasing prices, or if it's a good idea to increase prices, or what navigating the choices between what you do for free and what you do for paid, and defining what the barrier, or what the line is that needs to be defined. I would love to answer your questions. That would make this a lot more interesting for me. Welcome, Bree. Bree is a current client and Inner Circle member as well. So great to have you here. So again, no promotion, no pitch or anything else. If you are not already a member, and most everyone here is already a member of either the Circle or Inner Circle community, but if you're not and you're interested, just go to the Creative on Purpose Substack and check out what we're up to and what's involved in the communities. And if it's looks interesting to you, now is a great time to go ahead and join before the prices on the monthly, annual, and founder tiers goes up. So what we really want to talk about here is just, share some reflections on pricing, on relative value, and personal responsibility for the decisions that we make about how we price our offers, whether that's a product, a service, a course, a coaching program, a healing program, whatever it is. And again, a lot of the folks that are attracted to me and my work and that are working with me either as community members or as clients, there's a lot of tension around pricing the things, the difference that we make in the way that only we can make it. And I would say that there's a couple reasons for the tension around pricing, especially again, when it comes to being a purpose-driven solopreneur, someone that wants to make a bigger impact and make a bigger difference. And all we're asking in exchange for doing this work that matters with people we care about is that we make enough today to do it again tomorrow. And in general, I would say that the folks that I work with tend to underprice their offer for reasons like, that just because they actually care and they want to make it available broadly to as many people as they can. It's, they think that they conflate this idea of generosity with what's actually usually happening, which is kind of discounting your contribution. There's the fear around alienating people or being seen as transactional and extractive, which is something we don't want to come across as being either of those things. We want to be inclusive. We want as many people as possible to benefit from the transformation on offer through the work that we do. And so we tend to price or underprice our offerings. And we think that that's somehow being generous. And I would argue, or I would rather, I don't like to argue, let's say I would assert that we don't have to conflate the pricing of our offer with all these moral judgments that we're making about, what's fair, what's unfair, what's transactional and extractive versus generous and inclusive. It's pricing is less a signal of generosity, moral judgment, or any of that, and more about an invitation to the right people to commit, to clarify the scope of the work on offer, the scope of the transformation on offer. It's a signal of who the work is for and who the work is not for, at least right now. And I use this word stewardship. It's not the best word. I think there's a lot of there is a little bit of moral judgment around this idea of stewardship. Stewardship is this idea that you are managing and responsible for managing the resources available to a community, and we think in a lot of traditions human beings are seen as the stewards of the planet, and in some ways it elevates one person's status and subjugates other people's status, or at least disempowers some people's status. But I use the word on purpose because there is an element. If you are a purpose-driven difference maker and you are doing the work that matters with people you care about, and you are making a difference that only you can make in the way that only you can make it, there is an element of stewardship to that. You are putting yourself on the hook and saying, for a certain kind of person with a certain kind of aspiration or challenge, I am the best choice to help them navigate, guide them through all of the inevitable opportunities and obstacles that come with any kind of journey that's worth enrolling and investing in. What I would assert is that when we're talking about stewardship, we have to be the stewards of our own experience and our own interpretations first before we can try to claim the privilege of helping steward someone else's experience. And if we do it right, we are actually inviting them to first become the stewards of their experience. Again, this idea of of enrollment, of commitment, of investment, of putting themselves on the hook to do the work necessary to make the difference that they want to make. So it's just a way of thinking about pricing from a different perspective. Pricing is a story. It's a story that you're telling yourself about the value of the difference that you can make with and for the people that you want to make it with. But more importantly, it informs and inspires the story that the people that you seek to serve are telling themselves about the value of the difference that you can help them make in the way that only you can help them make it. And as I'm fond of saying, when you choose your story, you choose your future. And if you are choosing a story around discounting the value of the transformation you have on offer out of generosity, out of a desire to be inclusive, or anything else, you're actually in many ways doing more harm than good, not just to yourself, but actually to those that you seek to serve. Gonna pause here right for a second. Bree says, hello, happy merry all things, pricing a valid stuck point with a lot of us. How much should I charge? If I charge too low, I undervalue. If I don't have a low tier, people may not try out the offer. Great point. I was listening to Nick Peterson and Laurel the other day, and they were talking about the sophisticated buyers like to try things out first before they invest in higher tiers. A low ticket offer is cool, and then higher tiers from there. What I understand, yeah, those are all great points, and we can talk a little bit about that, Bree, because I know again, Bree is a Voxer Velocity client and someone that I've been working with for well over a year now, is very familiar with the way that I provide as frictionless a path from free to low ticket to mid ticket to high ticket. You can allay some of your concerns and fears around pricing, overpricing your offer by having a menu of offerings that meet people where they are, but also give them this chance to kind of try before they buy and to get some traction with things that are free or low cost before they move into higher ticket things. I mean, this is the great lie of the way that most digital marketers and online gurus approach traction, right? They'll say you have to price your thing high ticket, that people that pay attention. Well, that's actually just dogmatic bullshit. The idea that the only way to get people to pay attention is to make them pay is actually wrong. Most people that can actually afford a high ticket thing are paying so that they don't have to pay attention. What they have money, what they want is more time. And so this idea that you make them pay a lot so that they'll pay more attention, no, that's not what people that actually can afford higher ticket things want. They'll pay so that they can not pay attention. They'll pay for help with implementation or just to have it done for them so that they don't have to think about it, because they would like to have that time to spend with their families or to do the things that actually matter to them, as opposed to going through some BS 12-month high ticket program with modules dropping every week and homework to do. And lots of us don't want anything to do with that kind of offer. But the way that the digital marketers and online gurus sell that is through all the digital marketing BS. They have, created funnels fueled by ads that are jamming people through force and pressure and false scarcity and urgency through their funnel, so that when they land on the sales page with all the perfect copy and the outrageous bonus stacks and the perfectly colored buttons, that they give up their credit card credentials and buy the thing. The problem with that is that when you use the typical digital marketer playbook, ideal customer avatar, perfectly crafted niche that you've jammed yourself into a already overcrowded, competitive market, based on demographics and psychographics and features and benefits, and then created some sort of lead magnet with sales, an email sequence, and that drives them to a sales page and kicks them into a nurture sequence if they don't finish the the sequence to the sales page. Then you land on that sales page, and it's been tweaked and crafted and refined to drive engagement through scarcity force, and so forth. I mean, just think about all the effort that goes, all the time, money, attention, and effort that goes into the typical digital marketer playbook. You will spend 90% of your time on things that have nothing to do with the difference that you actually signed up to make when you started your business in the first place. And it's all unnecessary. You don't need any of the. If you don't like social media, you don't need social media to sell your thing. I've proven that this year by getting off of social media altogether, except for Substack notes. You don't have to have email sequences and lead magnets. You don't have to do discovery calls or sales calls. You don't have to have an ideal customer avatar or a funnel. My business is built entirely on doing the work that I love doing with people I actually like doing it with, and just clearly defining, to Bree's point, what I do for free and what I must be paid for, and offering invitations and encouragement so that people enter a conversation where I help them solve the problem of what am I actually trying to accomplish and what is actually my stuck point, moving them into an assessment process where I help them actually not only clarify what they're trying to accomplish and where they're starting and what they're starting with, but showing them for free a roadmap of the 2 or 3 things that they need to work on that will get them closer to what they actually want, will help them collapse time to target. And then offering a very affordable, low-ticket continuous plan where I can help them get traction in implementing that roadmap and also navigating the early opportunities and obstacles that you can't see when you first get started. And if they successfully get direction and clarify a path for free, and then I actually help them make progress for a very small investment, then moving into something that's higher ticket, whether that's a mid-ticket offer or a higher ticket offer, becomes a natural next step that not only does not require an ideal customer avatar, a funnel, a email sequence, a landing page, social media accounts, ads, and perfectly crafted sales pages with perfectly colored buttons and bonus stacks and all that. I don't need any of that. And at every step along the way, I have earned enrollment in the journey that I can help someone take. I've never had to pitch. I've never had to sell. I've certainly never had to use any hard sell digital marketer tools or tactics. People just naturally make their way through the right people, just naturally continue the progression, because at every step of the way, I've validated their identity, their desire, and provided actual clarity and service and help that helps them start to collapse time to target for free before they even buy a small thing. And then when it's time to consider continuing, they will do that because you've already proven your ability to make good on every promise that you made along the way. So there is no need for any of the things that we're usually talking about. And at every step, you're not using either artificially low pricing or artificially high pricing as a trigger, as a mechanism to trick people out of their money. At every step along the way, folks make their own decision, whether to continue along a path of progression that you've set. So again, what you're wanting to avoid is creating artificially low pricing because you think it's going to be generous, inclusive, and make you look like a good person that's not just transactional and extractive. Uh, and instead, just send a very clear signal at every step. Here's what you get for free. Here's what you get for a very small investment, but you'll get a lot more than you pay for. Here's what you get when you purchase a mid-ticket or a higher ticket thing, but you'll get a lot more than you pay for. And proving at every step along the way that if they are willing to implement and employ the things that you're providing them with, whether that's a product or a service, you have proven the utility and the effectiveness and the efficiency of the thing that you're selling. Got Kyra here as well. Great to have you here. Dr. Mohammed, just enjoyed having a little conversation with you over Messenger this morning. Nostalgia is here. And Sharif, I hope I'm saying your name right. Great to have you here. So Kyra is also a member of the Circle community. Got lots of cool kids here. Margaret, Elizabeth, Claire, Clay, Bree, and now Kyra are all members of either the Circle or Inner Circle community at Creative on Purpose. Great to have you here. So I'll just, again, this is way more fun for me if you'll drop some questions or share your own insights in the comments. But I'm going to go for another 5 minutes or so, just riffing on these ideas in the hopes that they are helpful and useful to the folks that are here. So I'll just, again, pricing is something that comes up over and over and over again in the Circle and Inner Circle communities where people are working on crafting sustainable perennial offers and creating Be a Blessing marketing web that gets more of the right people to consider those offers and then uses the client attraction process that we call the conversation engine to get the right people to consider the offer, try the offer, enter through a low ticket offer and into a mid-ticket offer. I've been thinking about this a lot in regard to the pricing of the paid tiers of the Creative on Purpose Substack. And that's what's inspired me to talk about this. Again, not promoting the publication or pitching that you sign up now while the price is artificially low. But one of the things that comes with pricing considerations, or more importantly, pricing reconsideration, is like once you announce a price, are you locked into that forever and always? And I would suggest no. Most of us, when we start our business, are at the beginning of our own journey of preeminence and making the difference that we can make and figuring out how we make it in a way that only we can make it, and figuring out who are the people that share your values and need your talents to enhance their lives and all that sort of thing. When you first get started, you're probably going to, unless you buy into the digital marketing playbook and decide that you're going to go high ticket and do your best to trick a bunch of people out of their money and hope that they don't ask for refunds or set up barriers to getting refunds. For the most part, we're starting our business as in part so that we can actually become the experts or the authorities in our domain that we know we have the capacity and the potential to become. And so your initial pricing is probably going to be artificially low. It's probably going to, even as you're just getting started, going to be lower than it needs to be or lower than it should be. But along the way, as the value of your product or service improves because you are a thoughtful, diligent, deliberate difference maker who is refining and iterating and improving your product or service as you go, it's going to just naturally become worth more and more. And so when I was thinking about this in relation to the Substack, when I started this Substack, I was actually in crisis. I had become a very skilled digital marketer. I when I make fun of digital marketers, or when I try to rattle their cage a little bit, it's because I'm rattling my own cage. I actually was a very successful digital marketer. I had a very high performing funnel that was converting over 4 or 5%, which most funnels convert more like 1 or 2%. uh, I had the perfectly crafted ideal customer avatar. I had the perfectly crafted niche. I had the perfectly crafted funnel, lead magnet, email sequences, nurture sequences, landing pages, sales pages, the whole 9 yards. So, and not only was I skilled at all the tools and tactics, but I actually was getting the kind of results that most digital marketers target as your dreams and aspirations. I did consistently make 10K plus months, month after month after month. The problem was I was spending 90% of my time in my business doing things I didn't like to do. I don't like digital marketing. I don't like creating ideal customer avatars and lead magnets and funnels and niches and all that sort of thing. I was spending most of my time doing digital marketing bullshit, not spending enough time doing the work I actually signed up to do. And because I had pursued this path, I ended up creating a perfectly crafted power offer that had me doing work I didn't like with people I didn't really care about. And so when I started the Substack, I had literally blown up a very successful business that I wasn't proud of because it was making me become a person that I was increasingly unproud of. And I just started writing about things that were relevant to me, that were inspiring to me, that were helping me figure out what I was going to do next. And I started my initial paid tier offerings were just around offering community calls, which we have 3 times a week, and for higher tiers, offering some discounted coaching. Since that time, we have created a 3-day purpose-driven prosperity model operating system accelerator where you can spend 3 hours, 3 days crafting a forever offer that will allow you to position yourself as the one and only choice for making the difference only you can make and the way that you can make it, and becoming the best in the world at doing that. And be a blessing marketing web that allows you to show up only in the places where people who share your values and need your talents already are gathered, and do the work that you actually signed up to do when you became a solopreneur. And a client attraction system and goal or business priority and success planning system that allows you to make measurable progress, collapsing time to target with greater ease and velocity, greater efficiency and effectiveness every 90 days, 30 days, 60 days, whatever timeline you want to choose. That accelerator all by itself is something that I could easily be charging $500 to $1,000 just for the accelerator as a standalone course. And believe me, if I wanted to create a funnel and power it with ads to drive sales, I could do that, and I would probably make a lot of money. But now it's included as part of the Inner Circle All Access Vault, along with all the other workshops, replays, resources, prompts, worksheets, and so forth. And to have something like that was priced at less than $200 a year, just what didn't seem reasonable anymore. The value of the transformation was completely out of alignment with the amount that I was asking. So it was time for the price of the Inner Circle membership, the founder tier, to increase. The quality of the conversations that are available to monthly and annual subscribers as Circle members, because of people like Bree and Margaret, who are regular contributors, and Clay, who are regular contributors to those weekly calls. They helped increase the value of the community calls, of community in general. The interesting thing about the the circle and inner circle uh, paid subscriber tiers of the Creative on Purpose Substack is only about 20% of the people that have access to the weekly community calls actually show up for the weekly community calls. 80 to 90% of the people that are paying for a subscription to the Creative on Purpose Substack are doing it exclusively to get access to the premium, exclusively paid content. That's what they want. And so another thing to think about when it comes to pricing your offers, it's not what you think it's worth, it's what they think it's worth. And people get to choose what they decide is valuable to them. 80 to 90% of subscribers that pay for a subscription find they get everything that they want and more that they're paying for just in the weekly paid content. That's great. And for those that want to enjoy the community and the collective momentum that's associated with the weekly calls, they get to enjoy that. Everybody gets to decide what's meaningful and valuable to them, and they get to make a decision about whether or not they want to invest in themselves and in that offer and the difference that you can help them make. So it makes there's no reason to have dissonance or for me to feel bad about increasing the prices, because people have clearly demonstrated, the right people have demonstrated, that they think that what I'm offering in terms of the inner circle all access vault and the circle community calls is worth far more than I'm charging. So when you have an offer whose value is out of alignment with its current price, what do? Well, I decided I was going to first make sure that everybody that is already a member gets locked in at the current pricing. So that's $9 a month for monthly, $90 a year for annual, $197 per year for the founder level tier, the access to the inner circle, all access vault, and all the VIP events that are associated with the inner circle. They're all locked in. I also said to all of the people that are not yet members of that community, hey, if you want to get in and lock in at this artificially low price, here's your chance. I gave more than a 2-week runway for people to think about it and to explore the content or explore the available, the public calls and so forth, and they get to make their own decision. There's no scarcity, there's no urgency, there's no power offers or funnels involved. Just here's what's happening, and I want you to know so that you can make the best choice for yourself. And I'm making sure I respect and honor and appreciate my innovators and early adopters who signed on, some of them before I even made clear what it was I was talking about or trying to do, and providing clarity for future members. This is now everybody that signs up knows exactly what they're getting. They can see and determine for themselves the value of the offer. So there's nothing about this that's high pressure or forceful. I'm not saying decide now or miss out. The stewardship promise is, this is what the work looks like. This is what is on offer to help you do that work. This is the promise that I'm making and the promise that I will keep if you commit, put yourself on the hook and do the work. And now an invitation. Decide if this fits. Is this a good fit for you now? Great. Capture some the lower pricing. If it's not a good fit for you now, you can still get it later and you'll pay a little bit more, but you're still going to get a lot more than what you paid for. All right. So Claire says, I resonate so much with your ideas. That's why I joined, of course. And I can't wait to dive into all your material. Thank you, Claire. Really appreciate that. I would suggest that you find the, and it's a pinned post on the Creative on Purpose Substack website. Find the post that shares a welcome to the purpose-driven prosperity model. You'll find in that post links to the 3 core frameworks: the Forever Offer, the Be a Blessing Marketing Web, and the Close the Gap goal setting and achievement process. If you watch those extended previews, you'll get most of what you need in terms of getting introduced to the concepts and to the approach that we're doing a deeper dive into in the inner circle, but also in we're going to wrap up this year with some priority setting and success planning for the new year, and then in the early weeks of the new year, we're going to really dive deep into nailing down our Q1 priority and success plan. Clay says, there is a tension between my proficiency at what I do and the offer. I'm still refining that what my offer is, being myself, showing my value through my performance, at the same time making those connections with people who want to go on the journey. Realizing what I do is different than what others do here. Do I just perform locally like I have been doing and post a blog? Is that mostly all I have to do to connect and build from there? Yeah, Clay, so Clay is, for those of you that know my backstory, I leveraged a 7-year association as a coach and head coach in Seth Godin's programs to build a bridge between a very successful long career as a professional guitarist and guitar teacher into the work that I'm doing now as a coach that helps people get clear and closer to the things that they really want. And so Clay is a local friend and fellow traveler in the music field. And Clay, your question is really good, and the simple answer is to start with who you are and where you are and what you already have, and do your thing and let them watch. The right people will continue to seek to get greater proximity access and invest in the transformation that you have on offer. It's when we think about music, maybe we don't think of it so much as a product or service, but it very much is. Music is a language that we use, like any language, to connect and create, co-create, collaborate, communicate, and share stories worth sharing, share stories worth telling, and help people get the things that they want that music provides. That feeling of connection, that feeling of inspiration and community. The feelings and the community aspect of music. That's all really super important stuff. So you are already doing the important work, which is showing up as you are with what you have and doing what you can with and where you are with and for the people that are already coming. And then how do you amplify that experience in a way that so thoroughly delights people that they are eager to take another step deeper into the connection with you, and also become your allies and advocates and evangelicals who are spreading the word about who you are, what you do, and more importantly, what you can do for the people that you perform for. I think it's entirely possible that blogging or video or audio could be a part of that. But again, what I would say to everybody on this call is, when it comes to selling your thing, you don't have to do anything that we associate with the usual digital marketing playbook. You don't have to do avatars, niches, power offers, funnels, ads, social media, YouTube, podcasting, book writing, any of the things that you're being told you have to do. None of it is true. You can build a business that simply leverages the things that resonate and align with your personality and preferences. If you like to write, you can write. If you like to be on video, you can do video. If you like to do audio, you can do audio. If you like to just show up and do live stuff, you can just show up and do live stuff. It all works. You should figure out what your personality and preferences are, because that will help you define strategies that are more sustainable and enjoyable. And then you just get really good at refining, iterating, improving whatever approach you naturally are inclined to, what fits your tolerances and temperament. So Clay, you're a member of the community. I'm happy to discuss this. I love talking and working with musicians in particular, given my background. Clay says, also, I have made invaluable connections with others I have met who work with Scott. Well, I appreciate that, Clay. Yeah, we also, for people that are local to Floyd, Virginia, we do in-person events several times a year. I guess we did about 6 of them this past year. We'll probably do at least that many again this year. But those are always really fun. And in real life, in-person fellowship is just a humongous force amplifier. I appreciate digital tools and digital communities and all that sort of thing. And I definitely love the circle and inner circle communities and the people that are involved. But yeah, I am looking forward to more in-person gatherings and doing them in places that maybe get more members of our community to be able to attend. Kyra says, appreciate everything you share, Scott, and the value of your mentoring. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you once we get through the holidays, Kyra. I love the work that you are doing and the difference that you are making with the community that you serve. So just a quick shout out to Circle. And so if you are not already familiar with Margaret Doyle, Claire Machado, I hope I said your name right, Claire, Clay Blevins, Brianna Willie, and Kyra Faison Gardner. These are people that you should be checking out. These are members of the Circle and Inner Circle community that you could be interacting with every day in the community chat and in the chat on the posts and in-person calls that happen 3 times a week. If you want a seat at the cool kids table, might be time to consider the Circle and Inner Circle communities. We are not just making a difference and making great progress in our personal endeavors, but we're actually having a lot of fun and building a lot of important friendships along the way. So I'm just going to hang out for another minute in case there's any last questions coming in. But regardless of the changes in the paid subscriber tiers for the Creative on Purpose Substack, there's plenty of resources and information and inspiration about pricing that you can find just by searching the Substack. But I would really strongly encourage you to consider the story that you're telling through your current pricing. Is it a story that you're telling yourself about to make yourself feel better about yourself by undervaluing and self-discounting the work that you do that is worth so much more? Are you sending the wrong signal maybe to the wrong people by undervaluing and underpricing your offer? Are you overpriced? Are you not actually able to deliver the kind of deliver on the promises that you're making, and therefore need to consider a different strategy when it comes to how do you build sustainability into your endeavor in a way that allows you to do more of the work that you started your business for so that you can get better at it, and worry less about pricing and selling and all that sort of thing. What's the story that you're telling yourself about yourself through your pricing? More importantly, what are you doing to confirm the story that those you seek to serve are telling themselves about you and the value they believe that you can deliver through your pricing? Because ultimately, when it comes to the price of your offer, it needs to be in accordance with and resonant with and aligned with the value of the transformation on offer if you are actually able to deliver on the promise that you're making through your offer. If those you seek to serve will actually enroll and invest in the difference that only you can help them make in a way that they need and want and desire to make it, because you align in terms of beliefs and values and aspirations and you have the talents and skills necessary to help them get from where they want to be, where they are to where they want to be with greatest ease and velocity. So looks like no more questions coming in. Bridges and Bagpipes just joined in, just in time for us to say goodbye, but I will probably make this replay available. It's been a great discussion. Since I have so many circle and inner circle members, paid subscribers to the Creative on Purpose Substack, I just one more time want to give you all a